Hi friends, my name is K. Sairaj. Today my topic is pollution from fossil fuel combustion, a leading environmental threat. Introduction. Children are especially the poor bearing a disappropriate burden of disease and development impairment from both environmental pollution and climate change due to combustion of coal, oil, gasoline, diesel and natural gas. Assessment of health and economic cost of impact of fossil fuel combustion byproducts on children have typically been fragmented, published in specialized journals, and have separately considered air pollution and climate change. This silo effect has precluded a full economic the harm to children that result from a carbon-based economy and has stymied the advancement of properly comprehensive policies to protect this vulnerable group. The youngs are especially vulnerable to air pollution and climate change. The developing fetus and young child are more biologically and physiologically vulnerable than adults to the many adverse effects of toxic air pollutants and climate change from the fossil fuel combustion. This differential susceptibility is due to the rapid growth, dynamic development, programming, immature detoxification, immune and thermoregulatory system, and their dependence on adult caretakers. Fossil fuel combustion is a major source of global air pollution and CO2. Globally, the majority of air pollution is generated by the combustion of fossil fuel, coal, diesel, gasoline, oil, and natural gas. For electricity production, heating, transportation, and industry worldwide in 2011, fossil fuels represented 82% of total primary energy supply. In the US, oil, natural gas, and coal account for 81% of current fuel use. Energy related fossil fuel combustion in high and middle income countries and biomass burning in low income countries accounts for most of the global air pollution, generating 85% of airborne respirable particulate pollution and almost all sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide emission to the atmosphere. Also emitted black carbon, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, nitrogen and mercury and volatile chemicals that form ground level zone O3. According to International Energy Agency, worldwide growth in coal consumption is predicted to decline between 2015 and 2001 as developed countries continue to abandon coal as energy source and China consumption plateaus. However, that decline will be offset by growing demand among emerging nations, particularly in India, Southeast Asia. Fossil fuel combustion related to air pollution and climate change are a major cause of environmental injustice. A major environmental injustice is that children who are dependent on adults and did not create the problems bear the brunt of impact of air pollution and climate change. It is a further injustice that children in low and middle income countries as well as lower income communities and communities of color in high income countries like the US are disproportionately affected. Echoing an earlier WHO finding, the recent report of the Lancet Commission on Pollution and Health, which the author was a commissioner, stated that pollution in all forms disproportionately affect the poor and marginalized in every country worldwide, with air pollution being the largest contribution to pollution related deaths, mainly in low and middle income countries. The health impacts of air pollution in children include mortality and neurodevelopment problems. The Lancet Communication on Pollution and Health noted that air pollution remains a great killer of our age, showing earlier conclusion WHO that air pollution, both ambient and household indoor, is a public health emergency and the biggest environmental risk to health. Most of the attention has been on excess mortality in the overall population. The largest number of deaths in adults. However, the children under 5 years old, 1.7 million deaths are attributed to pollution and environmental risk in general, with air pollution linked to 6,000 of these deaths each year, largely due to phenomena predicted that 2050 outdoor air pollution will become the leading cause of child death. However, millions more children are affected by chronic illness, including respiratory illness other than the pneumonia, and effects on physical and cognitive development. Climate change is linked to serious health impacts in children, including mortality and development impairment. As noticed in the introduction, references for this section can be found in increased illness, injury, and deaths from heart stress, floods drop, and increased frequency of forest fires and intense storm are among the direct effects of climate change. The indirect effects include malnutrition and undernutrition, the spread of infectious diseases vectors, food insecurity, illness due to increased air pollution, aero allergens, and mental ill health from displacement, social and political instability. Children are especially vulnerable to both the indirect and a direct consequence of climate change. So, solutions exist and interventions are being mounted. Means are at hand and already at work in many communities, cities, and countries to transition from dirty fossil fuel to clean energy. The transition is seen by experts as both major challenge and the major opportunity of our time. Expert groups have undersecured the feasibility of seizing this opportunity, citing policies and incentives that have been effective. They have also underscored that successful and benefit the health and future well-being of children worldwide. A transition from dirty fossil fuels to clean energy must be done equitably and inclusive of all communities, especially those that are disadvantaged. The WHO describes a number of policies in transport, urban planning, power generation, and industry that are known to be effective in reducing emission of fossil fuel related air topics and CO2. Clean technologies that are reduced industrial smokestacks emission, improved management of urban and agriculture waste, including the capture of methane gas emitted from waste sites as an alternative to incineration for use as biogas. Shifting to clean modes of power generation, prioritization, rapid urban transit, walking and cycling networks in sites as well as the rail interurban freight and passengers travel, shifting from heavy duty diesel vehicles to low emission vehicles and fuels, including will reduce sulfur content, improving the energy efficiency of buildings and making cities more compact and thus energy efficient. Increased use of low emission fuels and renewable combustion free power sources like solar, wind, or hydropower, co-generation of heat and power, and distributed energy generation, example mini grids and rooftop solar power generation. Conclusion: consideration of full impact of fossil fuel